What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself. Your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it.
Hello. Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited about my guests. I'm excited that you're here, and I'm going to pull her up right now. Hello, Sharon. How are you?
I am wonderful, and I'm so happy to be here.
And I am so excited that you're here. And I'm going to take a few minutes and share with our audience a little bit about Sharon H. Fillmore. We all want to be the best versions of ourselves for our families, right? That's where Sharon H. Fillmore, the Vitality Mentor, comes in. With over 40 years of experience in healthcare, teaching, and coaching, Sharon knows how important it is to have vitality and clarity in life, especially when it comes to our families. As a registered nurse, a holistic nutritionist, a verbal Aikido communication master and coach, Sharon has the knowledge and skills to help you achieve a more fulfilling family life. Your relationships and health will improve as well. She likes the Mary Poppins of family wellness, serving up a spoonful of sugar. From emergency rooms to holistic conferences, from boardrooms to classrooms, Sharon has inspired and empowered people all over the world to live their best lives and create truly balanced family units. She knows that a happy, healthy family is the foundation for a happy, healthy life. So, if you want to be the superhero your family deserves, or you just want someone to listen to you besides the dog, Sharon will guide you. Join Sharon on her mission to help families live their best lives full of joy, happiness, and vitality. Trust her, and your family will thank you. And you might even get a hug or two. I love it. All right. What I'm going to ask you to do is please share with our audience a little bit more about Sharon Fillmore and how you came to realizing your purpose and your passion.
Okay. Well, I have always loved people, and my background is nursing. I went into nursing right out of high school. And I worked as a nurse for 40 years in multiple units. And I love people. I love helping people. I love to see them grow. And then I got married, and we were having, of course, we were having children. And I realized that I came from a family that was a little bit dysfunctional. And my husband at the time, he did as well. And we knew that if we didn't make changes and learn new things, that we would bring our parents' parenting into our children's lives. And not that our parents were terrible. They did the very best that they could. We wanted to do better. So we took many parenting courses, and through the parenting courses, I discovered that when you coach your children to the realization that it's much more likely that they're going to take ownership and follow through. Although I didn't realize I was coaching at the time. And then fast forward many, many years, I was taking a self-improvement course, and we were talking, and somebody said to me, well, what do you do, with your kids? And I said, well, I always help them decide what's the best course of action. I said, all of my kids' friends and their friends will always sit at my kitchen table, and then we will go through and we will walk through, and I will help them find the best answer for them, because I know that if they take ownership of it, they will do it. And if I tell them to do it, it'll never happen. And the more I started to talk to the facilitator, who was a coach, she kept saying to me, "You're a coach." I said, well, no, I don't do any sports. I could do when I was a kid. She goes, no. Because those were the only coaches I knew were sports coaches at that point. And she was the one who educated me on what coaches were and what they did and how I was just doing it naturally. And her name is Carol Schulte. And she taught me a great deal. And with her advice, I went on and I started taking coaching courses. And I discovered that this is a bigger passion for me than nursing, because I get to make a difference in an entire life, the cycle, the social, the physical, your whole life. I get to help you. As a nurse, you came in, because I worked in high risk areas, you came in when you were sick, when you needed immediate care. Or now I help you care for your entire family, for yourself, and I help you with true preventative health, because I'm helping you talk to your kids, talk to your spouse. I'm helping you with how to make decisions in the home so that you can move forward together as a family unit, happy and healthy every day.
That is amazing. And there were a couple of things that you said that just really stood out. First of all, awareness precedes change.
True.
And when you recognize that both you and your husband came from dysfunctional families, even though you didn't realize they were dysfunctional, but you recognized that there were things that you needed to learn in order to raise children that were productive, responsible, and would take ownership. That is key. Number one, you can't teach what you don't know, and you can't give what you don't have. And in order for you to do what you do today, you had to learn that. You had to live it in order to be able to help other people. You had to live it. We can read things in books, and we can go to school and get all the education, but if we haven't lived it,
it's not the same if you haven't lived it.
It is not the same. And so I say kudos to you for recognizing what you needed to do in order to raise your children. That was the primary reason that you did it. But
Exactly.
then you recognize, as a result of doing that, that you were helping other kids, even as your kids were growing up. And that is just amazing. And then you talked about ownership. Unfortunately, even adults have a hard time accepting ownership and responsibility for their actions and their behaviors. And like you, that was a big thing for me. with my son, helping him to understand you are responsible for the choices that you make and the consequences of those choices. And,
Exactly.
but I couldn't have taught him that if I didn't recognize it myself. And so I say kudos to you. We have a lot to talk about. A lot
We
to talk
do.
about. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. All right. So I mentioned about you and your husband, and then the ownership, taking ownership. And I'd like for you to just kind of share some things that you've learned as a coach working with families, some information. And you and I talked yesterday, and we were talking about the amount of anger that children are experiencing right now. And it's in the family, it's permeating in the family, but not only in the family, in our society.
It is, yes.
And so this show is about vitality
It is.
and
So,
energy. And so if you could kind of share with us some things, some nuggets.
some nuggets. Okay. The three main pillars are trust, dignity, and respect. So, and I believe that everyone, whether you are 3 months old or you're 90 years old, deserve respect. And when you give someone respect and dignity, then you start to build trust. And when your children trust you, when you treat them with dignity and when you treat them with respect, even when you're angry, because let's face it, we're parents, we're perfectly imperfect humans. And when you do that, they will feel comfortable to talk to you and tell you. And it's about teaching yourself and your children to recognize when it is a good time to talk, when it's maybe like an example is we all have these ego states that are parent, adult, and child. And if you want to have a conversation, you need to be in what we call the adult state. And even a 3-year-old, if you watch them, with their toys, they do have these states. And it's about getting people into the adult state so you can have a great conversation.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, and so that's one of the important things. And to get people there, it's important that they trust you and that you have respect, because you want your children to learn how to respect themselves and others. And they learn, mirroring is the most effective way of learning. So
Absolutely.
when you respect yourself and them and your spouse, and when you provide dignity, and then what ends up happening is they mirror that.
Absolutely.
When you hold true to your boundaries, your kids will
Yes.
develop boundaries and they will hold true to theirs. And by doing that, they will be teaching other people how to treat them.
And what you're doing right now is describing the authoritative parent. There are 4 basic types of parents: the permissive, the neglectful, the authoritative, and the authoritarian. And what you've done is you've used and modeled the authoritative parent. And that includes that trust factor. We wonder why our kids don't talk to us, or we wonder why they're going to other people to try to get advice, because it may be how we're coming across with them. If we're authoritative and it's do as I say, and instead of listening to them, or because I said so. When parents are coming across like that, how can a child trust you if you're not giving them that kind of respect to listen to them?
Yes, and that's true. And it's a learned thing, because we don't learn that. I mean, when we grew up, it was, and for many people in your audience, I'm sure, as children are supposed to be seen and not heard, and do as I do, not a, you know, and do as I say, not as I do. When you know, and these don't work in our society, and they never did. Actually, people think they did. They never did.
But we were afraid. You know, we grew up with that fear, and we knew if they said don't talk, stay out of grown folks' business, which children should do. But
Mhm.
having that respect to listen to them and to honor that they are a person. I wrote a poem called Children Are People Too. And we need to recognize that. I'm almost tempted to share it.
Actually, I was just thinking I would love for you to share that poem. Do you have any
Okay,
idea?
it's in my head.
Okay, good.
Okay, children are people too. Show them the good inside of you. Give them praise for tasks they do. See their light shine bright through the light which comes from inside of you. Children need all we desire so much: the love, the hug, the kiss, the tender touch. The attitudes we express to them are the messages they learn to send. From examples like you and me, our children grow to be what they see. Do you show hatred, indifference, or love? Do you yell and scream no matter what in spite of? Have you shared kind words with your child today? Have you truly listened to what they had to say? Or did you just ignore and continue on your way, hoping they get the message and go somewhere and play? Children are an extension of all that we are and the most valued God given gift by far. There are so many things they must grow to understand. We must guide and lead them with loving, outstretched hands. Teach and treat children as people too. See their light shine bright through the light which comes from inside of you. And I know as a coach, that's what you're teaching parents. That's what you're wanting them to understand.
That's a beautiful poem, and it
Thank you.
really it says everything.
Thank you. Thank you. And if anybody wants to download it, you can go to my link tree and download it. I'll put that in the chat. So anyway, yes. And like you said, even 2 and 3 year olds, this baby talk, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Talk to your children normally.
That's true. You can talk to your pet and baby talk if you want. Doesn't matter, but not your kids.
Not your kids. Not your kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. And oh my God. This is a very important broadcast because parents, and see, my thing is parents and children as well. And so understanding the importance of having that connection. And you talked about boundaries. Let's talk about boundaries for a minute because the permissive parent does not really adhere to boundaries. They're off and on with boundaries. One day they're making their kids do things, and then if a child is constantly saying, "But mom, dad," then the boundaries oftentimes go out the window. So why don't you share a little bit more about boundaries?
So boundaries are important because children respond well to boundaries. If you think of a child that plays a video game, why do they like video games so much? Besides the fact that they're fun, they have boundaries in them. You do these things, you win. You do these things, you die. I mean, it's cut and dried. And when you're at home and you have boundaries, kids respond to it because they know where they stand. And there's no can I do this? I can't do this. I could do it yesterday, but I can't do it today. And so there's no question. There's no worry about their kids. Always try to push the envelope.
Yes.
You got to know where the envelope is to push it. Right?
Yes.
And if they have boundaries, they know how far they can push. They
Yes.
know, they know. Also, it helps them. It helps children to develop their own boundaries, which they can then use with their friends.
Absolutely. And it will enable them to be able to say no when they know that these kids that they may be hanging with are going in the wrong direction. And there's a difference between having boundaries and having guidelines.
True.
Guidelines are flexible,
Yeah.
and you can work around guidelines, but when it comes to boundaries, you got to stick with them. And I know as a single parent, having boundaries was very important for me, because if you don't have boundaries, your kids are just going to do anything and be anything and go anywhere. And another part of that is, for me, it was very important that I knew who the parents were of the kids that my son was hanging around. Were you that way as well?
Oh, definitely. We knew all our neighbors, and we knew exactly where our kids were, when they were there. It was very important to us. My kids will now say we were stricter than other parents. And I'd say, well, did you suffer for it? Oh, no, I didn't suffer for it.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I think they benefit from it because their friends always wanted to play at our house because they had boundaries at our house. And if you broke the rules or you refused to agree to the boundaries, and I would just say, well, you can go play at home now. And then tomorrow, when you want, you can come back. And that was it. The issue, though, is parents. Parents, number one, we have a really hard time with boundaries, especially with our children. We do. And in this day where you have people working long hours and they're stressed, and there's so much pressure to be the perfect, have the perfect family, the perfect house, the perfect job, work and so many hours. Like there's no room for everything in there. There's no room for it in your life. So something ends up giving. So you end up breaking your own boundaries, and kids see that. Kids see everything, even if you don't think they do. They do. It's incredible.
They see everything. And there are times, I remember with my son, I had boundaries, and I trusted him, right? And I was working full time and going to school. And when he was like 13, I would let him stay at home while I went to school. And I would come home from work, check on him, and he'd be, sitting down watching TV, and everything was hunky dory. And then I come home and dinner would be ready because he loves to cook and everything. I'm thinking, oh man, this is great. And then my neighbor said to me, Vera, I want you to know that when you leave your house becomes the party house. And all these kids are coming over to your house. And at that point, I knew I needed to nip that in the bud. And so I surprised him and came back. When my house was just brimming with kids, front door, back door, everywhere, all these kids. And I was like, oh, no. And I told him, I said, at this point, I thought I could, I was trusting you. But I see now you had me fooled. So when I get off from work, be ready because you're going to school with me. Okay. And so I had to nip it in the bud. And sometimes as parents, we don't want to hurt our kids' feelings. But hey, you got to have boundaries. You got to have rules. And they've got to abide by them. And if they don't, then we need to look at options.
Yeah, there needs to be consequences. Sometimes we can have natural consequences, which is sort of like you don't do your homework, you have to go to summer school. That's a consequence. Well, I know my kids had that consequence. And sort of one of them spent 2 summers in summer school. He took a little longer. It's just that when you're young, time is different. Teenagers and children are different. Teenagers are always looking for that out that party. They're always looking for a fight with you. Have you ever noticed that? Teenagers like to
Yes.
fight with. I mean, and so I have a remedy for that. It doesn't always work, but it works most of the time. So when my kids are, when they were teenagers, and they have that, body language. I'm very much into body language, and how they stand. They're
Yeah.
looking for a fight.
Yeah.
I would always compliment them before they got to say anything. Sometimes it was like, their makeup, their clothes, or like, oh, I heard you singing. What was that song? It was so awesome. Like, it was if I complimented them, who can fight with you when they're being complimented?
Absolutely. I love it. Parents, listen to this. She's telling us, especially because so many parents are dealing with teenagers and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to deal with them. And so this is a nugget. You hear? Compliment your child when you see they're getting ready to get huffy and puffy and attitudinal. Compliment them. Find something that either what they have on or what they did earlier during the course of the day, or find a way to compliment them. And also remember, it takes two to argue. And so, all right.
It does. It takes two. And as teenagers, you have to pick your battles.
Yes. Yes.
Some
I'm
battles
putting
are
this stuff in the chat as you're talking. So choose your battles. Absolutely. Not everything needs to be harped upon.
and
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So, and always hear them out. Always hear your kids out.
Yes. Absolutely. And let them know. Get feedback from them. If you're making a decision, get feedback from them, but make it clear. I appreciate and value your feedback. I want to hear where you're coming from and how you feel about this. I am the adult. I will make the final decision. However, what you have to say, what you think is important to me.
True. And it's important that they understand that, and that because I am not sure about you, but I know that there are many times when I would hear one of my kids out and I think, well, that's a point of view I had not thought of.
Yes.
And because we're coming from up here, we're looking down. Whereas when we ask them to tell us what's really going on, we're on more of an even keel. We're looking at our children and we're looking at ourselves as well. And we can remember, oh, I remember feeling that way when I was that age.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you have some empathy for their thought, for what's happening to them.
Exactly. And that when you are that type of parent, then your child is going to feel very comfortable talking to you and sharing with you what their innermost thoughts, because they know you're not going to judge, you're not going to criticize, you're not going to condemn, you're not going to ridicule or belittle. And so that's just very, very important. Listen to their point of view. Kids are smart, very intelligent, and we don't give them credit for that. And as parents, we don't know everything. We may think we do, but we don't know everything. We're wise, and they need to listen to our wisdom, but we need to also listen to them.
It's important that we do listen to them and we take their suggestions. When my son was, I think he was around 7, he said to me, I am going to load the cutlery in the dishwasher a better way, Mom. And I thought, okay, fine. you go for it, bud. And you know what? He did. He loaded them. I mean, he was just a kid, but he had been looking, and he loaded everything in the dishwasher. And when we washed everything, it was cleaner and it was easier to put away.
And of course, you praised him for that.
I still do it today. I still do.
And see,
and he's 30 years old.
well, and with my son, he decided that he did not like the way I washed his clothes when he was in middle school. So he said to me, Mom, I don't like, because he wanted me to turn his jeans inside out and do all this meticulous stuff. Okay. And so I said, okay, no problem. Do it yourself. And from the time he was in middle school, he did his own laundry. And it was his choice to do that. And I was okay with it. You do yours, I'll do mine, and I'll do the household stuff. But you got it, bro. You got it.
That's
So,
true. And that gives them, inspires confidence.
yes.
Because they're doing something themselves. They have thought about it, they've planned it, they've put the development, whatever needs to go into it, and they've presented it to you, and it worked.
Yes.
I mean, think about
Yes.
yourself when you do that. You're so excited. It worked. Oh my God, it worked.
Yes.
And it pumps you up, and it gives you more confidence, and it gives you more you want to move forward in life, then you want to do more.
Yes.
And your kids,
Yes.
it's the same. And our children today
Absolutely.
are so smart. They have so much going on, although I think they have a great deal of pressure on them.
Yes.
There's not enough play. I think
Yes.
I think that our children of all ages, not just the 4 and 5-year-olds, but the 20 and 25-year-olds, there's not enough play.
I agree.
And a play brings on creativity. It improves your endorphins, so your dopamine, your serotonin levels, so that it wards off things like depression and Parkinson's, things like that.
Yes.
And play promotes laughter, and
Yes.
laughter is really good for your heart, your blood pressure.
Yes.
It's actually a physical activity. You have a good belly laugh, and you're going to tighten your body up. So if you laugh
Yes.
every day, all day, you'll be really fit.
Yes, because even scripture says laughter is good medicine.
It
So
is.
being able to laughter, I'm telling you, you can't frown and laugh at the same time.
No, you
You can't
can't.
be sad and laugh at the same time. Laughter is great medicine. One of the things that my grandkids and my son, and even any kid that I was around, would get a kick out of, I would play hide and go seek all the time. And they could never find me until I got too old to bend down and hide under things. Can't do that anymore. But yeah, I
Neither
used
can
to
I.
say that, and they would always say, "Girl, play hide and go seek with us," and stuff. So laughter, and play. And anymore now, when we were young, we played outside all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
And now kids, actually, with the way society is and the way things are, it's kind of, parents are kind of leery about having their kids outside playing without supervision. And I understand that, but being
Take your
out, go
take your
ahead.
computer outside, let the kids play. You can work on your computer. Or better still, play with them.
Yes, yes. Laughter, play, all of these things are nuggets.
Hmm.
And
Now,
then go ahead.
the other thing about play that's so important, especially when it's outside, is vitamin D from the sun, our sunshine vitamin. If you have your face and your arms and legs exposed to sun for a good part of the year, for at least half an hour, 45 minutes a day, then you know what, you're getting your vitamin D. And the studies are showing that people that have problems with depression are very low in vitamin D.
You hear that?
So playing outside is
Yeah.
is it isn't just about feeling good, being outside and being with family. It's about providing health for your body too, and your
Yeah.
mind.
Yes.
So
I'm telling you, these are nuggets. And even as an adult, just going outside and walking around and, just being out there. I love being outside. I love going to the park and just even if I don't do a lot of walking, I like sitting in the park and just, listening to the birds and just loving being in nature. I really love that. You know
well,
what? We're going to have to break for a minute. I need to do a commercial.
okay.
So we will be right back.
Podcasting is trending. Celebrities and everyday people every single day are starting podcasts. You may be even thinking about starting a podcast yourself. But the question still remains the same. How can you start, launch, brand, market, and grow your podcast? How can you connect with the right people in the media and the podcasting industry in order to elevate your visibility? And what type of mindset do you really need to have in order to be a successful podcaster? And the big question, how can you monetize your podcast? Well, hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, host of the Tina Ramsey Show, podcast coach and podcast network owner. And the good thing is that I have you covered. You can ask all of these burning questions and so much more to our experienced media and podcasting professionals on our live Q&A at the Power of Podcasting event that I am personally inviting you to on May the 6th from 2 to 7 p.m. in Atlanta, Georgia at the Pop-Up and Create. I want you to experience for yourself a live taping of the Tina Ramsey Show, and your ticket, get this, includes our #1 podcast course, an autographed copy of the Power of Podcasting book, a swag bag with exclusive goodies, delicious food, and networking. So whether you are looking to just simply expand your knowledge, connect with like-minded individuals, or simply have a good time, our event has something for everyone. So I don't want you to miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I want you to buy your ticket and secure your spot for our event, because it is the event of the year, because these tickets will sell out fast. So go to ctrmedianetwork.com and purchase your ticket today. I can't wait to see you there at the Power of Podcasting. Get your ticket today at ctrmedianetwork.com.
Well, that event was Saturday. I was there. It was awesome. It really was a wonderful event. We learned a lot. And Dr. Tina Ramsey, she was the keynote for the event. And it was just really a wonderful event. So even though it's dated, keep in mind, if you're interested in being a podcaster, if you're just starting off, or if you're seasoned and you want to know how to monetize, how to do things more with your podcast and what you're doing, contact ctrmedianetwork.com. ctrmedianetwork.com. I'm telling you, I'm a part of that network, and I'm so proud to be a part of it. And it's really taught me a lot as a podcaster. So again, ctrmedianetwork.com. All right. I'll do another.
No wonder you're such a good podcaster. No wonder.
Well, actually, I came on board with her about a year ago. I've been doing my podcast for 3 years. But to be honest, my mother, she had her own radio show when I was in my late teens. And when she got sick, she taught me the ropes. And so I was able to learn and glean from her. And she was the first Black to have a radio show in our city. And so she taught me. Thank you, Mom. She taught me.
Wow. You sound like you had an incredible mom.
She was incredible. She really was. A very special, very, very, very special person. And all right. And she was my rock. You know, my mother was the type that would encourage, support, and just really lift you up. You know, that was my mother. When you were feeling down or when something negative had happened, she'd say things like, well, Vera, make them out of a lie, you know, and things like that. She was my rock. She really was.
It sounds like she showed you unconditional love.
Yes, she did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she did. Let's talk about unconditional love for a minute. Because, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, because unconditional love is something that people actually don't really know what it is.
Let's tell them.
They you know, if you have a pet, especially a dog, they show you unconditional love. It doesn't matter what you do, they love you anyway. When you show unconditional love, it means that you you respect them. You want to hear what they have to say. You don't judge. And, we understand that your children, you don't want your children necessarily to be like you. Very often we want our children to be like us because we think they can be a better version of us. And maybe we should let them be a better version of themselves.
Absolutely.
And it's about, loving your children enough to let them be who they are and love them even if it's not who you want them to be.
Exactly. No matter what they may even put you through.
Mm-hmm.
You want to love on your kids, and you want them to know
Exactly.
and feel that love. Love is unconditional. And, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about that scripture, the love scripture that talks about what love is. It's patient, it's kind, it's not haughty, it doesn't puff up, it doesn't criticize, if you can, and not only with our kids, we need to be that way, period.
With people, period. And if we don't judge, and if we love people and we accept them for who they are and the greatness, every single person in the world, every child, every woman every man, everyone has greatness. It may not be the greatness to, build, huge buildings. They have greatness.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to bring the greatness out in each other and start with your families.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
That's where it starts. Parents are their child's first teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's got to start in the home. You can't expect to display that kind of stuff, as just the scripture says, charity begins at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then spreads abroad. Love begins at home and then spreads abroad.
It's true. It's very true. And if we show our children that, then can you imagine what a better place the world will be? And it won't take long, a few generations, and the world it'll catch on everywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so needed. We need to be a light. We need to, because there's so much darkness, but where there is light, there can be no darkness. You
That's
cannot have a light in a dark room, because a dark room no longer is dark.
That's so true. And when you put a light in a child, they beam it out to the universe.
They do, and you see it. You can see it. You can tell when a child is happy because they just beam. One of the things that I did when I lived in Ohio was a part of an event called the Father's Walk. And that's where fathers would take their children to school on a given day, eat breakfast with them, and then the school would talk to them about how they could be more engaged in their children's education. And then the fathers would congregate at the end and talk among themselves. But these kids are walking, and you can see, there were television cameras and all that stuff, and you could actually see these kids beaming because their dads were bringing them to school. And if they didn't have a father, we had ministers and leaders and politicians and other people that volunteered to walk a child to school. And knowing that someone took that kind of time,
that's wonderful.
Spend with them, you can see them beaming. You can tell when a child is happy. You can tell when a child is in a good, positive environment because they beam. They do. They beam. So if your child's not beaming,
so children have a sparkle in their eye always.
Yes.
And that's really the brighter the sparkle. And people will say, no, they don't. But if you look at a child's eyes, you can actually see a sparkle in their eyes. It's incredible. And when you look at a really happy adult, you can still see a sparkle in their eyes.
Yes.
And it doesn't go away. It's just we notice it in children.
Yes. Yes. So build on that sparkle. Enhance that sparkle. Oh my. Yes. This is such an important conversation. And parents, understand. I mean, you are your child's first teacher, and how they see you is how they may well be.
Mm-hmm. There's another thing that parents and children, and it's one of the things that's more and more difficult these days, is how to be present. Have you noticed that it's more difficult for people to be present? And it's not just children, it's adults, it's everyone around the world. And it's actually something that we need to recapture again.
Yes.
How to be present.
Yes. And one of the reasons we're not is because we focus on what happened in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're right here in the midst right now, and we're thinking about what happened yesterday, what happened a week ago, what happened a year ago. No, that's done. It's over. There's nothing we can do about it. It's gone. It's gone. You can't change it, so why focus on it?
Yeah,
focus on right now. What's happening right now in the moment?
Yeah. Well, the past is gone, the future's not here, and the present is
It's
a
all
present.
we have. Yes.
It's a gift. The present is a gift.
Yes. I heard that once before.
Yeah.
The present is a gift.
It is.
It is.
Would you like to know a little exercise that I love to do with families?
Yes.
That is a lot of fun to help maintain presence. So what you do is, if anyone in our audience, if there's anyone in the room with you, you sit close to one another so your knees are touching. And then you look in each other's eyes. And you just look at their face, and you just look through their eyes. You start out, if you can manage for 1 minute. Some people can't, some people can, but there's usually so much laughing and giggling.
Yes.
So much fun. And then you say, tell each other what you saw. What did you see? And it's amazing what people see in your face.
I love that exercise. I love it. I may steal it if you don't mind.
You're very welcome to it.
I love it.
It's a lot of fun. Kids can do it together, adults can do it together. And it not only helps to promote being present, it helps to promote the unity of the group, of the family. And it also creates a bond.
Yes.
And the bond, can sometimes grow and grow, and sometimes it can never be broken. And if it is broken, they're okay with it, right?
Yes. And one of the things, in addition to doing that, I encourage people, and this is in the moment as well, write down 10 things that you value and appreciate about each other, and share it.
That would be an awesome thing to do after you finish this exercise.
Yes. I love it. Yes.
I'm going to add that to mine.
You can. Oh my God. Can you imagine if people do both those things at one time and be in the moment doing it? And I know it will build cohesion in that family. And also, that exercise that you mentioned may even stir up some laughter.
Oh yeah, it's usually giggle heaven. Everybody's usually laughing because it's really hard to look in somebody's eyes that long and not laugh.
Yes, exactly. I mean, listen, we're giving you nuggets here. We're giving you things that can help enhance your family. Listen to us. All right, I have another commercial. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Doesn't want to play.
Mama Knows creates high quality products that are available to be used on multiple textures of hair. Her goal is to bridge the gap to stop people from having to use multiple products because of families with multiple hair types. Her products are currently being used on men, women, children of all ethnicities. Mama Knows products are available at www.mamaknowsproducts.com. www.mamaknowsproducts.com. That's www.mamaknowsproducts.com. You can also find her on Instagram at Mama Knows Products, because Mama knows what you need.
Okay.
When it comes to your hair. And I am going to be using her products, let me tell you. In fact, she's shipping some to me now.
Nice.
Yes. I can't wait. All right. So, all right. Can you believe we only have 10 minutes left?
Oh my goodness. Time has flown.
Oh my goodness. Let's kind of recap some things that we talked about so that parents can understand and recognize how important these things are. First, boundaries. You need to have boundaries. And I'll let you, I'm going to be quiet. Okay? I'll be quiet.
No,
and I'll let you go ahead, and I'm going to type in the chat as you share and recap what we've talked about.
Okay, so boundaries are really important because they give kids, they know what the rules are, they know how far they can push, and it gives them a sense of security. Also, it helps them to build their own boundaries and hold their own boundaries fast. So if you don't keep your boundaries that you've set for kids, then they won't keep theirs that they set for others. So because we learn through mirroring, it is the most effective way of teaching.
Absolutely.
So if you want your kids to do something, you do it first, and they'll do it. So boundaries and unconditional love. Unconditional love is very important that kids know. If they believe that they're loved, they'll talk to you. And you'll know what's going on in their world. You'll be able to empathize with them, and you'll be able to understand each other. And when you know what your kids are doing, then you can help them through whatever it is they're going through. And they will, if they feel that you love them unconditionally and that they can talk to you and you're not going to judge them or punish them for doing something, even though normally you probably wouldn't have. Kids, they build this thing up in their brain. So that's really important. Communication is extremely important. How you communicate with your kids. We didn't really talk a lot about communication. It's important that you hear them out.
Yeah.
It's important that you ask them what they would do differently.
Yes, that's one of the, yes, I agree. Especially instead of criticizing them, ridiculing them, or calling them out of their name when they do something that's not right, you might want to ask, well, what made you do that?
Mm-hmm.
I know, like with my son, one of the things I vowed to never do was call him out of his name, call him stupid or lazy, or I refuse, because I grew up hearing those things and I know how it made me feel. And so I vowed never to do those things. Now there were times when I might say, that was not a very smart thing that you did, or that was a stupid thing that you did, but you're smart. You're better than this. What made you do that?
You weren't telling him he was stupid. You were telling him that what his choice was not.
Right. Exactly.
There's
It's a marked difference. Attack the behavior and not the person.
It's true. I have this really funny story. My nephew, he did something, and I said to him, I said, Sean, I said, it really bothers me when smart people do stupid things. And
I like that too.
And he said to me, thank you for the compliment, Auntie Sharon.
I love it.
And if he didn't have the self-esteem, he would have thought that way.
Exactly. And see, that's how you build self-esteem in your children. Mm-hmm. Compliment them when they do well. Question them when they don't, instead of attacking.
Mm-hmm. And teaching them how to, we tell our kids, work harder, work harder, work harder. But the reality is work smarter.
Yes.
and it's teaching them how to work smarter.
Yes. Yes. I have another commercial and then we'll come back and then it'll be almost time for us to go.
Oh, okay.
If you need funding for your business, contact sandpetefinancial.com. Sandpetefinancial.com. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't do this as often as I should. Listen, please support the Vera Thomas Show. And you can do that by donating, going to Cash App, $, Great, or Zelle or Venmo, The Vera Thomas Show, or PayPal, The Vera Thomas Show. Please support what I do. I need your support so I can continue to bring these kinds of shows that's going to educate, inspire, uplift, encourage. That's what we do here. That's what we do. So please, and also like, share, and comment on these shows. Please subscribe to the Vera Thomas Show on YouTube. Thank you very much. Okay.
I just wanted to let your viewers know, since I realize there's only 5 minutes left, for those of you that would like a free 30-minute consultation with me, maybe there's a problem that we can deal with, something that you would like to get some answers to, you can contact me. There's at Candidly, and you can book an appointment. All right.
Yes.
So, and I will please only book the appointment if you're sure you're going to make it, because time is valuable for all of us, and it is respect as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
and
it's okay not to book it. You don't all have to come.
Yes. Well, please consider a conversation with Sharon Fillmore, the Vitality Mentor. You want to check her out. All right. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you the last word, and I'm going to put you up front and center and let you say the last words.
I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you very much, Vera. I want to get my message out to families that we can all have families that we can move forward in life happy. We can move forward with unity. And no matter what's happening around us, there's a way to get around it. And there's a way to be together and to grow and to love each other. And that's my mission. My mission is to help families. So I would love for you to contact me, and I'll be waiting to help you.
Yes.
So,
fantastic.
Remember that your kids are only yours for a little while. They've been lent to you, and you have been lent to them. So enjoy each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we both, we're both working with kids and parents and their families. And so to have you on and to be able to have this dialogue and be in sync about what it is that we're trying to convey where parents and children are concerned, because again, parents, you are your child's first teacher. Mm-hmm. And whatever you show them is what they're going to learn. Mm-hmm. And so mirroring the attitudes and behaviors that you want them to have will ensure that they will have them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like they say, if you want to know how you're doing, look at your kids.
Absolutely. 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 And not to brag, but I must say my son is one of the most positive people you will ever meet. I have to say that. I have to say that. He really is. He really is. And Miles, I love you. Okay. Well, listen, we're going to close now. And I just want to thank you for being here. And we got to do this again. We got to do this again.
I would love to. This has been so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank
And
you.
thank you to all the viewers out there. Thank you for being
Yes, and this will be played on podcasts and over and over again. It's going to be aired quite a bit. And so I'm excited about that too. So, okay, until next Tuesday. Oh, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are out here and grandmothers that are out here and mother figures for other people. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
And
Happy
God
Mother's-
bless you.
Remember, keep a song in your heart and a smile on your face.
Amen, amen, amen. I love it, I love it, I love it. All right. So with that, we're going to say good night. Have a great evening.
Good night.
The Vera and Thomas Show. 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 Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk